All right, well, I'll get rolling here. So like we talked about our structure, time frame analysis first. Right now, I'm gonna go ahead and call the intermediate time frame neutral to neutral bullish. Just because, we got the big break, we got the balance, we got the tight, we got the top, we got the test of the bottom, and now we're just dead smack. Look at this HVN in my chart. You see that? Look at
Yep.
that big pronounced HVN. Look where price has been bouncing around all night for hours. Up and
Wow.
down, up and down, up and
That's
down,
the
up and down.
HVN of the whole balance we've been in?
Yeah, 70 is the
Oh
HVN.
wow. Oh
And we
wow.
broke above, we went down, we broke below, went up, and we've been sitting there shit since 2 o'clock in the morning. We've been balancing there, so a good 5 hours, 6 hours, and we just tried to break away from it, and we're coming right back down to it again. So this is going to balance in a tight little area here, heading into the open. And the idea now is that with the overnight contracting like this, there's definitely potential for a directional move. All right, so we got to keep that in mind. So that's the larger pattern also. So no time frame alignments on the short time frame is neutral. All we have is this down move, this bounce off this larger time frame area. So we're neutral, neutral, neutral. All right. So which means we're going to zoom into the intraday, and we're going to be watching how the market reacts off this HVN right here. This is a potential launching point, as we know. If it launches up or if it launches down, we have no fucking clue. But we're just gonna
Yeah.
keep that in mind. So
Yeah, you don't want to get in the way in the zones right above or below the
that
HVN.
that's what I was just about to get into next. So that's the larger pattern that we have in play right now, which is really nothing. But the pattern we have right now is this contraction, volatility contraction, and we only have 70% relative volume today so far. So something's going to happen. We just don't know what or when, and what that's going to look like. So that's what we got for the patterns. Okay.
Yep.
We just spoke about the larger pattern. There's really nothing there. And then now we're going to get into the zones and auto orders. So the zones I got laid out. I'll just review the zones. I won't talk scenarios or anything like that, but the zones themselves. I didn't highlight anything here in the overnight session. We do. If you zoom in, you could definitely make a case for support being down here at 65 to 67, and then the overnight high that we just poked above. So one way or the other, if we take out 65, that will help set the bias on the day. We need to take this area out too for a sign of weakness. So this is the overnight low and the previous day close. Then down below we got yesterday's low, which is also still that bigger, larger time frame area, which we identified, and we had a nice move off that so far. We're going to see if the buyers keep continuing to push off of that. Then down below those same spots, nothing really changed there. Okay, on the upside, so this here being a larger time frame area, it's already been tested, already had a big reaction, so I'm not going to call it an auto order again. I think that idea kind of already played out,
Yes, sir.
right? So I mean, it was this area here. It tested, it reacted. If you look at a daily chart, it's really nothing. It hasn't moved away from that yet, so it's still kind of like playing out. So I don't want to lean on that again as another auto order, but definitely maybe as an intraday fade. All right. Then the next bigger auto order areas are down at the balance area lows. So if we break down and head into that, that's just a long right there. Okay. Auto orders on the upside is still up here at the highs, and I'm not calling anything in the middle an auto order. There's no previous strong days. There's no alignments. There's no overnight structural breaks. There's none of that stuff, right? So we can agree that there's no automatic orders close by. Fair?
Yep.
All right, and then that's all my zones. So looking at zones on the upside, I got the overnight high and the previous day high, which we're testing right now. Then the previous day overnight high and the breakdown area from Monday, which is also that 90-93 from back here, still an important area. And then the smaller area, which is Wednesday's low and last pullback, and then up into previous day Monday's highs up there. All right, so that covers the auto order. So we're going to move on to scenarios and the execution. Oh, geez. All right, scenarios and execution. So now we get into the fun part. So we're gonna start with the upside. We'll go to the downside, and then we're going to assess where stops and targets should be placed, and any reversal or reactionary type of ideas is kind of what I got laid out here. We need to keep in mind the context and the current environment to determine where aggressive or conservative trade location and target should be used. So we know we're in a more neutral environment, so we want to just be shooting for the quick 2R, right? And that's why I put that in there a while back for situations like yesterday, so we could head into the day to understand if we should be more aggressive or not. So if you look at the details on this, I'll put another post up there of this because I've been editing it as we go. But when we review our scenarios and execution, we want to assess where the stops and targets should be placed, and then if the idea should be a reversal or a reactionary type idea, right? Then the context and the current environment to determine whether or not an aggressive or conservative trade location and target should be used. So, for example, if we're in this big neutral environment, we want to take a short, like kind of yesterday, what we got long here. If we would identify that more as a reversal idea, say targeting just 2 to 3R, we would predetermine that we want to be all out by here, which I think should just be a general rule anyway. Because so let's just say that there's nothing pressing. Like you said earlier, there's nothing pressing to make us want to hold for bigger extended targets. So by default, all of our trades should be structured for 2R, 3R maximum.
Yeah, that's right.
All
Take it
right.
off the table, man. Take the money off the table.
That's what we're doing today. So my rule today, based on the context, which is why I put that in under that section there, is 2R trades. Base hits 2.5R, in and out. That's it.
Yep.
I'm not shooting for extended targets, even if I think it's going to go. All right, so that's that part of it. And then we're going to identify the quality and the selective areas, the 50-50 type selective areas that we want to identify. All right, so let's get into the execution now. We know that we're contracting here. We can see that, it's obvious. We know we have a lot of catalysts today. So, some directional move could spark a more extended move up or down. So looking at the upside scenarios first, the overnight high and the previous day high is the more aggressive trade location. So if
We'll probably get straight through those in 4 minutes with this GDP. We're going to go through one of those.
yeah, we'll see what it says. Yeah, it's coming out in 4 minutes. All right, so we'll see how that plays out. But the idea here is it's not just an area to fade as an automatic order, especially coming off this contraction. So I would not be looking to just trade this based on the structure and the location alone. If I see some intraday signs here, lack of weakness, divergence, blah, 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 then I'll be looking to take a short here for a move down. All right, because maybe the breakout comes up, but then it fails. So, and that's another thing too. Any directional move off this area as a launching point needs to have momentum behind it. And if we see a lack of momentum and a lack of strength, then that's a reason to take a trade here, albeit an aggressive trade. So we need to really see something here to take this. So I'm just going to keep that in mind. All right, we break above, we're intraday bullish at that point, because we will be kind of confirming this false breakdown from yesterday. We will be launching point off the HVN, break above the overnight high and previous day high would be an intraday bullish sign. We take out this 90 to 93 area, that would be an intraday bullish confirmation. So this would be a bias changing zone on the day. So because of that, it would be an area to fade, but again, launching point off the HVN with momentum behind it, we want to be more careful here. So we could still take it, but maybe it's the back of zone 2R reactionary type of deal, or we do like you said, and it's a 3R reactionary type deal, but with a entry in the back of the zone and a little bit wider stop. What do you think?
Yeah, that 90 to 93 area. Yeah. Like you say, it really depends on. I really want to see what happens in the next few minutes here. See how the price action responds off GDP. If we don't have anything, big happening, then they can, we might go into a more balancing phase with Fed speak happening later today. So, if we don't have any, big momentum coming off these areas, then yeah, I'll definitely fade that area.
All right, so we're going to be trading this in a lack of momentum.
Yes, that's right.
All right. So
I agree.
intraday, this is an intraday read.
Yes.
All right. We're going to be looking to see what happens here intraday. We like the area. It's a quality area, but we need some clarity on the day. Like yesterday, we had a
Yeah.
quality area, right? It was a good area of support, and more importantly, we had intraday clarity on taking it. Down
That's
here,
right.
we had the same thing. It was a quality area, bigger area, good trade location, and we even had clarity on the day because we were coming down there still on a divergence and a disconnect. And
Yeah.
the momentum was not crazy skewed to the downside. So that area was a selective long trade. We had quality and we had
Yeah.
clarity.
Yeah. That was selective right there. That was a good one.
Yeah, that was a good one. And so that I think that's the same area here as well. If we get up in here, as long as we're not seeing outright excess strength, then this is a quality area to take a trade at, looking for a move back down. So my L's will be here off the open. They'll be here, but I'll be very selective here, even willing to skip this. All right. We take out 9094. Now we're bullish intraday, confirmed bullish intraday, and now this bigger pullback is starting to manifest more into a continuation, right? So I would be more cautious here, unless we break through this directly, break right through 93 and go straight up into this. Then that's the only way I'd be considering that. Okay.
Yep.
And then of course up here, let me see, 80 points from 60, 39.60 that was.
80.
30.
Oh, you're doing the 24-hour session?
Yeah, I'm gonna go 80
Okay.
points, which is a 24-hour session. That puts us just about up in here. So pushing up in here would be about the average range on the day.
Okay.
All right, so I'd be looking for shorts here as well. And it's an important area. It was the previous balance area high. It was these last swing highs before these directional moves down. So it's a decent area, not larger time frame, but definitely a decent area. Okay,
Yep.
so that's it for the upside scenarios. Basically, cautious here, looking for intraday signs that are very bearish. Then I'll be looking to take that. And I know this is playing out now, but I'm still talking about it like as if it
Yeah.
hasn't. And then if we break out and get in here, this is going to be a better short here. As long as we're not seeing a launching point off that HVN, then I'm short here. And then here I'll be more cautious unless we go straight into it, right? So we need some additional intraday
Yeah.
conditions.
If we don't get like you say, that condition for that one is if we don't get any response off the 90 to 93 area, then then you can go ahead and expect the reaction off the next one.
Yeah, so we break out here, we balance, and then go into it. Then I'm not looking to take this one
No,
here.
no, definitely not.
Be expecting to get its way up here. Okay, downside. So again, balancing HVN, a little bit of support right here at the 65 area, which we're kind of testing right now. If we take that out, that would be a sign of weakness. This would be a push down into the overnight low and the previous day gap and the low from Monday, which is also still this relevant HVN. There's still an HVN here. It's shifted up with the overnight session, but it's still a relevant HVN. It was at launching point. There was still a lot of stuff going on in this area. So if we push down to that, then we're definitely going to want to still see some type of something to support taking along there intraday. Because again, it's aggressive trade location. It's right off the HVN. So if we have like an open drive and we push down in here, I'm probably not going to take it. I'm just going to skip that. And
Yeah,
it's
I'll
not a
step aside
quality
on that
area,
one.
right? I'm not calling this a quality area, but if we have it's okay, but if we have some clear intraday signs, then some clarity intraday, then I'll take it. Make sense?
I'm with you.
All right, cool. So now let's say we break that. We come down here, it doesn't hold, we break. Now we got some clear weakness intraday. The overnight longs are going to be getting stopped out. We'll have potentially a launching point off the HVN and some momentum kicking in. And this pattern of pullback, continuation could be playing out. It would be second test of this area here as well. So I'm definitely more cautious on taking this here. That's why it's not an automatic order. But also, this would be intraday bearish confirmation if we take this out, and it'd also be larger time frame, intermediate time frame bearish confirmation. So we would, shorter time frame confirmation. So we take this area out here, it has larger time frame implications, let's say. So because that alone, it's definitely a good quality area, and it's still support until broken. And we could be looking very bearish heading into that, but I think as long as we're not seeing like liquidation type market, excess bearish ticks and so on, this could provide a reversal intraday, and it could at least get back up to the overnight high and then roll over. So, and then that could be the pullback that continues lower. So
Yeah,
this could definitely be a good long intraday, but it's going to require some intraday reading,
definitely.
and then maybe even definitely more conservative, like maybe the back of the zone and then a
Yeah,
stop
that's what I
down
was
here.
just I was just looking at that.
Yeah, and
I
just a
said,
2 hour
hold on,
pop. That's it.
yeah, how would I execute that? I want to go middle of zone, right at yesterday's low around that area because it'll probably poke through that a little bit before we get a bounce.
Yeah,
So yeah, I want to go mid to back of zone on that one.
exactly. So that's kind of the idea. So definitely worth trading. Could, 50-50. It's a major zone. It has good trade location.
We'll keep an eye out on Nasdaq too if it breaks that because it went right to its. I know it's not that relevant anymore with all this balancing, but it went right to its 50% retracement from that big up move yesterday.
Yep.
It hit it right on the head and turned around. So if it breaks that today on some weakness, then it may just drag ES lower, regardless of what Russell is doing.
Yeah. So this is definitely an area that we want to take a trade in intraday. It's a bias changing, bias affecting zone on multiple time frames.
Yep.
Intraday, shorter time frame, intermediate time frame. If we break this area here, this really starts to shift things more to the bearish side intermediate time frame. And then we still got these areas to contend with here as well. So it doesn't mean we're going to crash right through if we break this. It just means that the intermediate time frame is not as bullish as it was, and it's not showing to be. It'd probably be neutral at this point, and the shorter time frame would confirm bearish here. All right, that's what I'm looking at. So, and then if this area goes, we're probably going to be looking at more of a liquidation type of move.
That's what I was thinking too. I wouldn't trade the next one. I wouldn't trade that 25 to 30.
I'm not interested really much in this here because it's too close in front of all these stops here.
Yeah, that's
You
right.
know, so this is something that I would just be looking to skip contextually. It just doesn't make sense. But again, if it's, I would skip it if it's a liquidation type move. If it's not a liquidation move and we're not seeing outright excess weakness, then I'll consider it intraday. But then this here would be our automatic order. So if we rocket straight down from here, let's see, 39.79. 39.79 minus 80 puts us at 38.99, which puts us 38.99 puts us right into this area here. So this being an automatic order spot, we'd be pretty stretched there. So, again, automatic orders mean little to no intraday analysis. So if the only thing that would get me to pull this order would be a liquidation type of environment where all these longs up here, forget about this little blip down here where we came down to 3,900. I'm talking about the majority of the trading all happened above 39.40 to 45. So if that starts to go, you're going to have a bunch of people that were expecting it to go higher and it didn't are going to be looking
Yeah.
to get out. So this would be a liquidation type of zone, and this could potentially be a liquidation type of zone.
Yeah, it could. That's 6, 10, 12 to 50 to 16 might not even hold
Yeah.
water because we're so close to it now. And once you start running all those stops below yesterday's low and all of that, it's going to be people.
Yeah.
They're not going to wait for. They're not going to wait. As there always be saying, they're not going to wait to get stopped down. They're going to be like, man, let me
They're
take
running
some
for
of
the
these
doors.
profits.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I'm going.
Yeah, all the profits from this big run up and any longs that are sitting in here are going to be looking to get out. So, that's one scenario where we got to be careful of. And I'll skip, this I'm not really crazy about, but I'll skip this only if I see that type of environment. And the environment I'm talking about, like
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
wide range bars, excess,
liquid movement.
fear, a lot of fear, excess ticks, all that stuff kicking in. Then
Get out of the way.
I'll just get out of the way, or at least turn it into a back of zone tight stop to our reaction type deal. Just look to take a quick pop out of it if it looks right intraday. So just a reactionary type of thing. But if it's coming down on anything less than that, then I'm taking it, probably in the middle of the zone, something like that, for a reversal. And again, just 2.5, maybe 3R tops. So that's really it, man.
On the execution side, I add on that one. That 1250 to 1650 is so slim. Consider putting a stop down into that next area because remember those were the actual swing lows that day that we had that big run up.
Yeah.
The swing lows are down at 05, 03 or something like that. I forgot the exact numbers from that day.
Yeah.
But
06 and 93. Yep.
Yeah, so I would consider putting my stop below those, and seeing what the risk to reward. Because I'm going to play with Vulcan in a minute here and just kind of put two or three orders in down, or construct a couple of orders down there. So if I see, an opportunity to get in at 12.50 at 13 with my stop at oh 03 or something, and then kind of see what the risk to reward can look like going back up.
Hmm.
That's something that we want to be mindful of, just how we structure the trade, so we don't take an unnecessary stop down there, and then it reverses. Then we be pissed.
It always comes down to execution, man. I've been noticing that more and more these past couple of weeks. Like if you compartmentalize all of this, you have your preparation, right, which includes everything that we just covered, and then and that includes your scenarios and everything else, and then the other part of it is the execution, and then how and where you put your orders at, and adhering to your execution rules, so that way you don't lose out on 2R and take a break even, like I did yesterday,
So many times, man.
and but that's the thing, and so we're gonna fix that, and that's
Yeah,
what we're doing here. And I feel we've only been doing this like what, a week and a half, 2 weeks now,
yeah,
and not counting
right.
Thanksgiving. It's only been I
Yep,
think this is the second full week we've been doing this, and the first week we were just figuring it out. But we got a solid structure, man.
we do.
We got a good structure to follow, and what I love about it is that we came up with this on our own, and then we found out that that's what the other guys are doing.
Yep.
It's not like, oh, that's what they're doing. Oh, we need to do it too.
We're
It's like,
gonna do it.
no,
No, we've been consistently ahead of the curve with our own studies on our own.
yeah,
Like I said, when I went into that dinner and talked about what we were doing, the waste was like, damn, hey, you guys need to do what Corey and Corey and his guys are doing. And everybody was like, oh man, we want to, get in these groups and do this and that. And then they come out with the program, but before we even find out what they're doing, we're doing it. We've already moved to it.
yeah.
Um, so,
That's because we're a
definitely.
couple smart guys and we see a need for it.
There you go. There you go.
The problem is
So
that sometimes we're too smart.
yeah, yeah, and that can definitely bite us in the butt. But I like that. In the main thing I would really want to focus on over the next couple of weeks before we go into these holidays is understanding, what we can be looking forward to in the day based on where we're at. Like now we're finna get off the call. What can we even look forward to on some of these moves? Neutral environment, big balance range. If we're not seeing anything to make us shoot for home runs, man, take money off
That's
the
it, dude.
table
That's all
until
I'm
we
doing.
get, yeah, until we get to a point where we're saying, hey, we just had a false breakdown, or we just had a false breakout, or we're actually breaking and holding out of a multi-day balance area. So when we come back to test it like we always do, guess what? Get long, get short, look for the big move. But
That
in between all of that, let's take some of this money off the table, man.
absolutely, man.
Man, 15 and 18 R is not a damn lot of R, man.
It's not, especially net. You think you're gonna make some, you're gonna lose some, but you net 10 to 15 R a month. I mean, you're good, man. I mean,
It's not a lot,
10 to
man.
15 R a month annualized is 100 to 150
Yeah.
percent return on your account.
And 10 to 15 R is not beyond our reach, man. We got this shit. We can do that, man.
Yeah, I totally agree. And I've been there before. I've been
Yeah.
up 20, 25 R in a month.
Yeah.
And the problem is that you
Yeah.
give it back. Over the
It,
next, once you hit that
uh,
peak, you start slowly giving it
yeah.
back,
You,
and then,
you you start, you know what you get into? You start not understanding the change in environment. I've
yep,
done it too. I'm up, I had, some good months the last, in the summer going into the beginning of this kind of season. And then you don't understand the environment and the context of the day. So you're trading like you was trading last week when you made the R. It's different. Something has changed,
yeah,
and you're still trading last week's price action.
exactly,
So
exactly. And it's that lack of understanding what the shift is and adapting to it, you know, and also believing that, hey, I got this now. And then
yeah, uh-huh.
it's that euphoria that gets you, that makes you believe that I got this now, and that I got this now is the kiss of death.
Oh yeah.
That's
Oh
the
yeah,
part that
definitely. Yeah.
really starts the downward spiral, and you don't realize it. You take one loss, all right, no big deal, I'm gonna get back up again. You take another one,
Yeah.
oh shit, okay, all right, no big deal. You take a third one, like, oh fuck, man, I was up 10 R and now I'm down 4. I just gave back 4 R, and then you start
Yeah.
trading scared, and you start looking to figure out what happened, and why did it happen, and it's
All of
and it's
that.
all a lack of understanding the narrative and the context. That's all it
That's
is.
right. That's all it is.
And then
And
the willingness to
executing
adapt to it.
according to that. That's right. Executing according to the narrative of the contract. So right now, we're neutral. We're in a balance. We're at the bottom of balance, yes, but the bottom of balance can provide pop support. Look, let's trade this thing, like we know what the hell is going on.
And that's why I keep adding all these little pointers in here. If you
Yeah,
look,
all that stuff is relevant, man.
yeah, assessing where the stops and targets should be placed, and then a suitable entry. Okay, great. And then identifying, are these reversal or reactionary ideas? This is an important one. Keep in mind the context and the current environment to determine whether or not aggressive or conservative trade location and targets should be used.
Man, that's it right there. That shit should be bold, man.
You know what? I'm gonna make that here.
That's
I'm gonna
gold,
underline
man.
it and italicize it. There you
Yeah,
go.
that is so damn important, man.
And then then also identifying where the quality and the selective areas of trade are.
Yeah, and we just started that, so that's pretty good too. Because even regardless of how the day looks, we understood that we had a quality trade down in the 37 to 47 area. It was coming straight line into us. I mean, and we took it, and it's just, and then it's just a point of going back up to the previous point, managing it according to what environment we're in.
Yes, not what you see intraday and what you think is going to
Yeah.
happen, but the general overall environment.
That's right.
So-
You're not taking it and saying, oh, big reversals happen off these types of zones. No, we're neutral as hell right now.